Welcome to this explainer. Look, today we're totally rethinking how you manage your money on the internet. We aren't just talking about basic virtual cards. You already know what those are. We're breaking down the intentional, proactive way to secure your online payments. Because right now, relying on a single traditional card is a massive vulnerability. By the end of this explainer, you're going to have a foolproof, step-by-step strategy to protect your cash, control your spending, and honestly, just get your peace of mind back.
Let's dive right in with a question that, well, hits a little too close to home for a lot of us. Why do most people wait until they literally lose money to start protecting it? It's human psychology, right? People rarely wake up on a Tuesday and decide to create a virtual card just for fun. Almost always, that search begins after something has already gone sideways. So we're going to look at exactly why that happens and how we can stop being so reactive.
We like to call these the late realizations. And honestly, they probably feel a little too familiar. You know the drill. You sign up for a service, and when you finally try to cancel, they either refuse or make it absolutely impossible to figure out. Or how about that free trial that quietly morphs into a massive monthly charge? Maybe a sketchy website you bought something from 3 years ago suddenly charges you again. Or worst of all, a compromised card forces you to update your billing details across 50 different apps. These massive headaches, they all stem from one thing: relying on a single bank card for absolutely everything.
Okay, so here's our quick roadmap for today. 1. The reactive mistake. 2. The illusion of protection. 3. Purpose-built strategies. 4. Regaining control. And 5. The frictionless choice. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The reactive mistake.
Here is the fundamental flaw we all fall for. Traditional cards give every single website the exact same access to your bank account. I mean, really think about how risky that is. We subscribe to platforms, we test out totally unfamiliar apps, we buy from random global vendors, and yet we hand over the exact same primary card for all of it. Once your details are sitting on a merchant server, you are relying entirely on their security. What feels like convenience is actually massive, massive exposure. Moving right along to Section 2, the illusion of protection. Now, this perfectly illustrates the trap a lot of folks fall into. I call it the amateur way. This is when someone creates a single digital virtual card and just uses it to replace their main physical card everywhere. Listen, if you take one virtual card and use it for your streaming services, your free trials, and some random online boutiques, you are making the exact same mistake. The protection completely fades because that single card is now exposed everywhere. The smarter way, on the other hand, relies on purpose-built, separated payments. Smart users treat virtual cards as specialized tools.
Which brings us to Section 3. Purpose-built payment strategies.
First up, let's talk about the virtual card for subscriptions. This is a dedicated card used absolutely nowhere else except for recurring monthly services. Whether we're talking about your personal streaming accounts or, expensive business SaaS tools, subscriptions are literally the #1 reason people slowly bleed money online.
When you set up a dedicated subscription card, you are the one holding the power. You can strictly control your monthly limits. So, if a SaaS tool or streaming platform suddenly hikes their price without telling you, the card just declines the extra charge. And if a company decides to make cancellation a complete nightmare, you don't even have to bother talking to customer support. You just turn the virtual card off, done. You dictate the terms, not the merchant. Next up, the virtual card for free trials. Come on, we all know free trials are rarely truly free. Platforms basically bank on you forgetting to cancel before the window closes, right? Especially when you're just testing out new services where your trust is kinda up in the air. By using a low-balance virtual card specifically for testing, you totally neutralize their entire strategy. Here is why this is such a game changer. No overcharging, no accidental renewals, and absolutely zero stress. You load a virtual card with just enough cash to verify it. If you forget about the trial and the platform tries to hit you with a massive annual fee on day 8, the transaction just fails. The card dies automatically. You literally never have to set a desperate calendar reminder to cancel a free trial ever again.
Okay, scenario 3. A virtual card for sensitive or high-risk platforms. There are just times when you really want extra distance between a transaction and your primary bank. This could be for personal, discrete purchases, sure. But it's also incredibly useful for high-risk business environments. Think about running ad campaigns on Facebook, Google, or TikTok ads.
Using a dedicated card for these platforms gives you crucial protection. Yeah, it keeps discrete spending off your main statements, which is nice. But more importantly, whether you're dealing with a platform that's prone to data breaches or an ad account that might glitch out, overspend, or suddenly get banned,
Siloing these transactions ensures the damage is totally contained. It never ever impacts your primary identity or drains your main checking account.
And our final strategy here, the virtual card for international sites. We've all been there. You find a great deal or some unique software on a global website, but let's be real, you have no idea how these unfamiliar merchants halfway across the world are storing your data. So for this, you spin up a capped balance card specifically for unknown global transactions.
The global protections you get here are phenomenal. You get to shop the world with total confidence because your main funds are completely walled off. If you make a purchase and, a week later something feels a little off, maybe you start getting weird spam, you just instantly freeze or discard the card. Boom, the threat is eliminated.
Section 4. Regaining control and calm.
I absolutely love this quote. Online payments stop feeling like a risk they have to monitor constantly. When you finally stop using one card for everything, this profound peace of mind just takes over. And beyond just security, this is actually the ultimate tool for budgeting and organization. Think about it. You have separate cards for your ads, your subscriptions, and your personal use. Your subscription card literally can't be used at a retail store. A trial card can't turn into a surprise $50 expense. You have safely contained and organized every single risk in your financial life.
Finally, Section 5, the frictionless choice.
Look, the biggest barrier to actually doing this isn't a lack of interest, it's the intense friction of traditional banking. Standard signups require these long verification steps, uploading sensitive documents, and linking everything directly to your main bank account. That is a ton of friction just to safely pay for a $10 subscription. CardUpNow strips that headache away entirely. They offer access without mandatory KYC, that's Know Your Customer verification. You get instant access, and instead of being directly bank-linked, it relies on prepaid control. You fund it, and you're good to go.
CardUpNow is genuinely the ideal tool to execute everything we've talked about today. You get ultra-quick access to spin up a card the exact moment you hit a paywall, test a new SaaS tool, or launch a new ad campaign. You get the safety of prepaid control, meaning you only risk exactly what you choose to load. And above all, you get total transaction privacy and organization. It finally puts the choice back in your hands.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one very provocative question. If a website you use today got hacked tomorrow, is your main bank account safe? If you're still using a single traditional card for everything online, the answer is unfortunately no. Right now, you are relying on hope, and hope is just not a financial strategy.
It is time to stop reacting to lost money and start securing your online spending proactively. Take back control of your subscriptions, outsmart those sneaky free trials, isolate your ad spend, and shop globally without the fear. Start building your purpose-built strategy today. Head over to CardUpNow.com to get instant, frictionless access to the virtual cards you need to finally lock down your financial life. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and stay secure out there.